Right, and we're live. So, hello and welcome everyone to today's new AI stream. Um, like always, we have prepared the most interesting things that were released during the last couple of days. With me again is Emmanuel, one of New Native's team members.
Hey everyone.
Yeah, and we're hoped you're hyped for these new releases. There's a lot of cool things that we will cover today. So yeah, let's jump right into this. So the first big thing is Dolma, and Dolma is the biggest open source dataset for large language models that we have seen yet. So maybe just to show a comparison between datasets that are already released and this new one. So you can see right here that the number of tokens of these models, so for example, we had Llama 2 that was just released, was trained on 2 trillion tokens. Llama 1 was 1.4 trillion tokens. And then we already go to the billions. So yeah, and we don't know really how many tokens GPT-4 and Palm 2 was trained on because these are private models. Yeah, but now we have this dataset which contains 3 trillion tokens, so 1/3 more than Llama 2. And there's no large language model that is currently trained on these tokens. So yeah, I'm very sure that we will see some large language model being trained on this dataset soon. And yeah, I'm really hyped for this because Llama 2 already had great results. Yeah, we tested it out on the stream, and yeah, it was really nice seeing this 7 billion parameter model trained on 2 trillion tokens. And now we see this dataset right here. And this dataset really addresses some of the most common issues of other datasets. So you can see right here that the project goals is to make these datasets more open. So we can also understand like generated output of these models better. Yeah, it better represents different kinds of documents and sources. Yeah, and all these things were addressed that were previously a problem. And we can also have a look at the types of data that were used. So we have 2 sources of web data. I've seen this common crawl in many other data sets too. We have academic data. Then also really important for the developers is the code type. Then we have a bunch of books and also Wikipedia as encyclopedic type of data. Yeah, and really cool to see these variants in there. So it's not only text from the web, but also code and books. So yeah, that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it's considerably large. I didn't expect 3 trillion when you were talking about it. And also, yeah, like you said, it's good to see that it's properly distributed among the things that, like, for example, most widely used, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, also this PDF here is really interesting because they address some of the like most common questions, like also what kind of problem does this dataset solved? Has the dataset been used for any tasks already? So they say no, no model has been trained with this. Um, yeah, and just a lot of more questions about this dataset. So yeah, if you're interested in just learning more, you can find this here on Medium, and you can also find, of course, the dataset on Hugging Face. You have to accept this, I guess, disclaimer that you will not use this for any bad purposes or intentions. Yeah, but then you're ready to use this. So really cool to actually have such a huge open dataset available for model training.
And who is responsible for Dolma?
Um, as far as I understood, it's this company AI2. Yeah, and they just had a bunch of people that were just putting their own time and efforts into this.
Yeah, it's always nice to see something so very well made, being open source. Especially these type of things are so hard to work with data sets, especially something so big.
Yeah, that's for sure. There also are some paragraphs here on how they actually processed all this data, because I mean you have to do some processing to get the text out of the web, things like this, like to make it a really good data set. Also like language filtering, you have all these things that are going on in the background. And yes, this was also done by these by these contributors. So thanks to them, we now have this nice data set. And I guess now we just need someone with enough compute to build a large language model out of this. Yeah.
Just.
So yeah, because I heard that Llama 2, which was trained on 2 trillion tokens, probably cost around 5 million US. So yeah, now we just need 1/3 more, and yeah, maybe some innovation in the research area, and then we will see. Hopefully, see maybe Llama 3 soon. Who knows? Yes.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, computational power of all these things are it's always expensive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or maybe even a model that has GPT-4 qualities as open source model. That would also be really nice. All right, but let's jump over to the next topic because we have a lot of cool different topics today. So here's StableVideo, and this is a paper that was released, and basically it's a method where you can use the Stable Diffusion with some text prompting to edit videos. So I will switch to the GitHub page right here because here are some really cool examples. So on the left you see the original video, in the middle is the red chip, and on the right side there is sunset. Yeah, just this is the text prompt then, and this is also the text prompt. So let's play this, and you can see that basically the original video was just edited with this text prompt, and you can see the quality of this is pretty okay, I would say. So the red chip looks really well. Yeah, and you can see that there's no like crazy stuff going on, no flickering. So yeah, we can also take a look at the
No,
other
it looks
examples.
really good.
And I think in this one you can like see even more differences between these. So we have the original video, we have the rusty car in the desert, and you can see that the entire background basically is edited. And you can even see Miami.
Yeah, the only thing here is, for example, the wheel. I don't know if you notice, but they're not spinning in the edited versions.
Okay, so yeah, you can see that there's some room for improvement if you take a closer look. But I think this is a cool direction. Uh, we last week had a look at basically Stable Diffusion text editing, not text editing, but image editing. And yeah, I guess after this, the next step is just video.
No, yes, for sure. It's very well made. Like, don't get me wrong at all. Like, it's pretty cool to see this kind of things, especially like we're talking like it's not something new specifically for video, but like they somehow managed to find an approach that can make Stable Diffusion, which is purely image generation with with videos, which is pretty interesting to be honest.
Yeah, so if you're interested in this, you can check out the GitHub repository. It's called StableVideo. Yes, and then let's jump right over to the next thing. So this is again something large language model related. It's an open source project where you can test out your different prompts and basically test different variations and see which one performs the best. So right here, this is a nice video that basically shows what you can do with this. So on the top right here, you have different models and you can basically have a prompt and then have also variables in this prompt. So right here, the prompt for both of these models is write a few sentences in and then scenario.language. And this is basically the variable. And right here, you can see these variables. So one scenario is Spanish, then we have French. Yeah, and then you can see the output and compare them directly of these different models and also the different scenarios. Yeah, it's super cool. It's open source. So basically, I opened this right here. Yeah, and now you can basically see that we have chat completion and they have a lot of more features that were not shown in the video. So right here, you can basically change the model to something, whatever you like. So there are some open source models right here. What else is there? We have Anthropic, we have OpenAI, we have some models on Replicate. So really cool to see this. You can also compare prices and speeds. So that's a good thing to have. And in addition to all this, you can also click on this refine right here. And now you can even refine things like add a chain of thought. And we have seen that these processes can improve the performance of these language models by a lot. So really cool that they added this feature, and you can also convert this to a function call. So I guess this relates to OpenAI functions, where you can basically define what a function should do, and then the model calls this function by its own or on its own. Yeah, or you can add just some custom instructions right here.
Yeah, this is pretty useful for people building on language models. Is often the issue that you get something okay, but you wonder like if there's a better way or maybe a more efficient way to get the same type of yeah, results. Yeah, it's something that, for example, you and I have encountered already. So pretty useful, I would say.
The only feature that I'm actually missing right here is to generate multiple generations. Because as we
Yes, I
know,
was thinking something very similar.
that some of the time these generations are pretty good, but then you run it again and you have a completely different output. So it would be nice to have something, maybe just generate 3 different or 10 or whatever you're willing to pay for. Yeah.
Also, maybe something that like you put a prompt and then you get like three prompt variations from that prompt, maybe in different tones or different words, and you can see like which works better because there's models that respond better to you being like more assertive in the way you're instructing things. So yeah, that could also be cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. All right, then let's hop over to the next thing. So let's scroll to the top right here. This is a GitHub repository / project called txtai, and this is a all-in-one embeddings database. So I guess most of the time we have seen databases that focus on text. So for example, with Chroma, you can just input text into their client, and then this in the background, this will get converted to an embedding, and then the embedding will be stored in a database. But with this, you can also create embeddings of different kinds of data. So for example, you can create right here, you can do text, documents, audio, images, and video. So pretty cool that these features are built in for audio, images, and video, because I have not seen this in any like client for a database. So I guess you can store any vector in a vector database, but in the client, it mostly focuses on converting text to embeddings. Yeah, and they also have like these workflows or pipelines. They're called workflows. So normally, if you want to retrieve similar entries from your vector database, you just do this similarity search and then return the most similar vectors. But with this, you have an entire workflow that basically in the backgrounds, similar to LangChain retrievers, just generate some similar data, yet just to perform a more accurate search on your database. And you can also just customize these workflows to get better results straight from your database. Yeah, and I can just really recommend this overall repository. They have like a bunch of examples and link to collabs where you can just test out these things on your own. Yeah, so for example, right here, this is a good example to get more accurate results. So if you have a big prompt, you can just summarize this prompt or then translate the prompt and then send over this translation to your vector database and do a similarity search with this just to get more accurate results. Yeah, and I think it's
Yeah,
pretty
no,
cool.
it's very interesting. These workflow things, I think it's going to be very handy. And lately, again, everything related to language models often includes, I guess, I would say that the most some sort of I've seen some pretty products having things like this. It's actually like I guess promotes people to build on top of these,
Mhm.
and like having open source projects that are actually like quality projects. It's not something rare, but it can be sometimes not encouraged. So yeah, this is a very useful tool to motivate people to actually build nice things using all these projects that other people like already took the time to work thoroughly on.
Yeah, and basically, I found this so interesting that I had a closer look at this organization that actually built this. and they have a bunch of different cool repositories. So for example, this right here is Paper AI, semantic search and workflows for medical and scientific papers. So yeah, this also sounds really interesting if you're interested in this, or text chat, conversational search and workflows for, I guess, just basically chat applications like ChatGPT or similar. And you also have semantic search for developers. So I guess this can also be super interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, they seem pretty focused into these sort of like retrieval type of tools. But yeah, nice to
Mhm.
see that they have like the whole variety. Because I guess when you do something specific, it works at least slightly better than when you do something more general.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'll definitely take a look at the one about scientific papers because it's always
Mhm.
you read something through a really long paper and then you just don't remember what is it,
Mhm.
and it's also monotonic that it's so hard to find. So yeah, that's a good one there.
Yeah, and this is also looking pretty good already. Let's see. Yeah, you can find out things like the proposal, method, and the conclusion. So yeah, this looks pretty cool. So yes, if you're interested in this, so this is called Paper AI by New ML, I guess you can call it. Yeah, and with this, let's jump over to our last topic. So this is basically just a headline and an announcement of a project from Google. So Google launches Project IDX, a new AI-enabled browser-based development environment. And this is looking pretty interesting. So right here, you can already see that basically Google now tries to create its own IDE with some AI-powered functionalities. For example, they have this new code model called Cody that is supposed to be built in here. Um, this really focus on like web apps, things like this, but also some Python. They have Flutter. I know that Google is pretty, yeah, Google likes Flutter and Flutter development. So yes, we can also have a quick look at their website right here. Um, So yes, if you're interested in this and want to sign up to the waitlist, it's idx.dev. Um, yeah, and you can see right here that they really offer cool features. So they really want to integrate this with Google Cloud. You can also see right here that these are the frameworks that will be supported. So we have React, of course, Angular. We have Next.js, also really good. Flutter, like I said, Svelte, Vue, and also like other languages. So if you're developing in Go or Python, this will also be supported. And of course, you will have some kind of GitHub integration that cannot be missing. Yes, so what else is there? Yeah, you can basically have these
Yeah,
previews of
no,
different
it's
kinds of applications.
good good
Yeah.
to see what do they come with. I'm pretty sure I've seen this before, but yeah, like I'm actually like going to join the wait list after we finish this because I would 100% like to try it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this web-based, I mean, basically, Visual Studio Code is already web-based. Um, and seeing something from, so we know that Visual Studio Code is open source, but of course Microsoft is heavily invested into this. Yeah, and I think now it just makes sense from Google's perspective to build something similar and then push their own products like Microsoft is doing, for example, with GitHub Copilot, things like this. Yeah, to push back with an own editor. Yeah, and like you can see, like I said, Kodi is integrated into here. So Kodi then can do code completion, translate code, explain code. I guess we will have some kind of chat feature like it's previewed right here. So yeah, really cool to see this.
Yeah, like you said, probably with these are going to come 100 more things pushed by Google itself that probably will work with this, and yeah, like probably some pretty useful things are gonna come from that. I believe at least.
Yeah, for sure. So yes, I'm definitely hyped for this. So if you're interested, you can sign up on the waitlist right here. Yeah, and then hope you get access soon. All right, so that's it for today already. If you're interested in these type of technologies, check out our upcoming hackathons on LabLab AI. For example, we have the Llama 2 hackathon, we have the new AudioCraft hackathon coming up, and also the Anthropic hackathon. Um, yeah, so if you're interested in these type of technologies, just have a look at these and then maybe enroll, join a team, and just have fun and learn a lot while building something really awesome. All right.
Yes, guys, it's always fun to participate in these hackathons. I highly recommend it personally, from a personal point of view. So you never know what you can end up building or the people you end up knowing. So try it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, yeah, then thanks to everyone who's watching. Yeah, and I will see you on Friday with some more cool AI news. So, yeah, see you then.
Bye.